Yeesh, finally got this review up. There's a good reason it took so long.
First, I went on a 4-day-long camp. Then I was out of town for a weekend. Then I had to teach at the camp for an entire work week. So it was about 2 weeks after posting the Half-Blood Prince review before I could even begin to think about starting this review. Which is mostly because I didn't even get the chance to even buy the game. So I went to GameStop.com, typed in my zip code, and found out that the closest store that had a used copy of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 on Nintendo Wii was 11.6 miles away.
Well, shit.
So I asked my mom when she could drive the 23-mile round trip to GameStop.
Well, I'm pretty busy this weekend, so we're going to have to wait 3 days.
So I finally got the... For God's sake! This makes 3 times now!
Oh well. From what I've heard, this will be a short marathon. I remember first seeing IGN's review for this game. My reaction? Jesus Christ, a 2 out of 10? It can't be that bad. Almost a year later, and after playing through the game, has my opinion changed?
Yes!
Yeah, I don't like this game. Last time I really spazzed out in a review was my first ever review, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Or Philosophers. Sorcerers. I really shouldn't have done that, though, considering that that game was about average. Anyway, I would just like to get this out of the way. I'm not trying to copy the angry video game nerd here. This game just sucks. Okay, let's finally start this review. Story-wise, it's a little heavier than the past few games, and cutscenes are, yep, unskippable. You know what? Let's speed through the pleasantries so I have enough time to list the many awful things about this game. The voice acting is kind of good, the story presentation is okay, and the graphics suck. I've seen footage of the HD versions of the game, and it looks okay, but the Wii version is pretty bad, especially the character models. This game is a cover shooter. And, well, I don't have a problem with this fact that it is a cover shooter. There is no Hogwarts in the game, so there aren't really any free roaming opportunities. So yeah, a shooter was probably EA's best bet. Unfortunately, this has got to be one of the worst shooters I have ever played. My first gripe are the controls. I generally love pointer controls on the Wii when it comes to shooters, but these controls are so stiff when it comes to turning. I had to crank up the sensitivity as high as it would go, and even then, turning still doesn't feel right. Patronuses also don't work that great. You have to tap the C button and then hold the C button really quickly, and it does not work that well. And finally, the biggest issue with the controls is the plus button. It's supposed to cast a spell to point you in the right direction, but you can mash that plus button all you want. It'll only appear when it feels like it. One mission in particular, I was positive that the game took away the ability to add more challenge to it, because it took 8 minutes to show up. And this is the kind of game where you need a permanent arrow on the screen, because it's very rarely clear as to where to go. Next up are the stealth sections. Good gosh, I hate these. As you can probably tell, you are in a first-person perspective under your invisibility cloak. You cannot touch anyone, and you're caught if you do. Why would this be a problem?
Oh yeah, because you're in first-person mode, and your view is so narrow, you can't see people coming. Oh my gosh, how was I supposed to see that? And what's really strange is, like I said, this game's primarily a third-person shooter. So why did EA put this section in first person? Actually, let me answer that. To make it harder, to add some little bit of bullshit, stupid challenge.
As for the actual shooting, it's an interesting situation. I called this a cover shooter earlier, but there's almost no cover in this game. And when there is cover, it's either in an area with 1 or 2 enemies, so there's no reason to bother with it, or it's in the center of a field with enemies closing in from all directions. So it's not very good cover because you're still getting hit. And, well, there's no point to the cover. And heck, there isn't even that much shooting, to be honest. I mean, yeah, the activity you'll be doing the most is delivering Stupefy after Stupefy to a Death Eater and his identical twin, but you know what? It started in the Ministry Magic level, when Hermione said, "We can't beat them!" I actually took that to heart, and just ran my way to victory. And it worked. In fact, it worked so well that I did that the next mission. And the mission after that. You can even run through the cave of a Hungarian horntail with him shooting fire at you. True, you'll lose some health, but it almost immediately comes back. In fact, with the exception of the few sections where you're required to kill all the sets of triplets, I mean, look at this, in order to advance, I found myself running through the last half of the game. Or, when there was a whole lot of enemies on screen, using my invisibility cloak to just sneak past them. And that strategy pretty much always worked. Not only that, but there's this one part where I guess Death Eaters are trying to overwhelm you, and you need to hold them off for 3 minutes. But I just hid behind this staircase for the whole time, and I was fine without firing a single spell. Ron got the shit kicked out of him, but I was fine, and that's all that matters. So, the gameplay sucks. I commented on the graphics, and yeah, I know they don't matter, but there are some serious issues with this game's presentation. First, the frame rate is atrocious. It is so choppy, even when there are no enemies on screen. It's ridiculous. Second, if Harry is anywhere near a wall, he'll disappear. I know it's so I can see, but it happens way too often, and is incredibly disorientating, and you still can't see anything. One thing that should have been terrific was that I think 3 times you get to choose between 3 missions to complete any order you want. And while I guess that should be nice, since I really didn't have much of an opinion about any of the missions, I just picked them at random. I also came across a really annoying glitch. In this area, the directional spell pointed me to this door, but it wouldn't open. I didn't know what to do. I checked out a walkthrough and found out that I needed to kill all the enemies in the area, but I had already done so. So the door wouldn't open, so I had to reset the game and start from the previous checkpoint. There are also so many sections where all you do is run in the game. I'm not talking about just running past Death Eaters, even when I guess you're not supposed to. I'm talking about where all you do is just cast a directional spell, or try, because remember, that thing's incredibly dysfunctional, and sprint to where it takes you. With the only enemies to avoid are the pathetic spiders and the very occasional freaking annoying Whomping Willow. So you'll just run for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes. The different spell choices are pretty useless. I pretty much always use Stupefy, simply because it was the fastest spell. I did use Confrigo a couple times, sometimes because it was mandatory to unblock areas, and it was also quite good at clearing enemies at extreme long range because it's an explosive. Other than that, I didn't use any other spells. I tried a couple, but Stupefy was just the most efficient. Even Protego, the blocking spell, I never used it except for when I was trying to cast a Patronus Charm, because you cast Protego with C. So, why include it? Why? You could have just put Patronus at C, and then not had Protego, because you don't need Protego. I think the lowest point in this game has to be the area where you fight Greyback, even though you wouldn't immediately know that. First, you would think that you should keep running. Then you should think that you need to kill everybody. And a few minutes later, when the barrage of Death Eaters just won't end, you realize that this guy in particular just won't die. So you focus all of your attention to him, and a good 10 minutes of fighting later, the fight's finally over, which easily brings up another problem. There's no health bar for bosses in this game, and it's so annoying, because you don't even know if they're taking damage. Lastly, this game is short. I beat it in exactly 4 hours and 5 minutes, making it about 10 minutes longer than Half-Blood Prince. But we actually have to take out another 7 minutes of the annoying glitch. And there was this one section where I was confused in Umbridge's office because I missed some instructions. So that's another 6 minutes. So that makes this game, if you kind of stretch your imagination, but I'm in a pessimistic mood, the shortest Harry Potter game so far. But that actually might be a good thing. Well, okay, it's not. But I'll have you know, I was jumping for joy when this game ended. Jumping for joy! Okay, maybe exaggerating a little, but you get the idea.
Well, that's all of my problems with this game, but they're all so big and annoying. Well, with that said, I guess there were some things that I did kinda like, even if I could only count them on one hand, with an extra finger.
I did enjoy one level in this game. Yeah, la-di-da. You sneak around trying to find Muggleborns with Death Eaters patrolling the halls. And even though there were like 4 others similar to this, I did enjoy this one, despite the frustrating stealth mechanics. I don't know why it was just this one, but it was alright. I thoroughly enjoyed the menu music. perfectly fit the game and sounded really good. Greyback made me laugh once.
I want to see what you know who makes of you.
That rhymed. I thought the tale of the three brothers cutscene was pretty sweet, even if it was a bit disturbing.
The second brother killed himself to join her.
Jesus! That's a smidge graphic-y, eh? For a T game. Just a smidge.
Also the only game with Dobby in it. Yep, Chamber of Secrets skipped over him, which is a shame because everybody loves Dobby. Except J.K. Rowling. Ah, come on, lady, what were you thinking? I didn't think so. And lastly, I'd be lying if I said my sister and I didn't get a really good laugh out of this game.
Oh my gosh. No. Oh wow. That was so stupid. You know, there's so much untapped potential there.
But I would like to mention that the boss fight beforehand blew. Okay, I hate this game. It's certainly functional, but the controls are stiff, and in the case of the directional spell, embarrassingly unresponsive. The gameplay is boring, repetitive, stupid, and short. The graphics are lackluster with a horrible frame rate, and I hate the stealth sections. As for the good things, no, I'm not going to list them again. You heard them, but most of them are too trivial to even mention once more. And it's a shame that I had to scrape that deep to even be remotely positive in this review. I don't even recommend this game for a rental. This game is torture. In 20 years, I can't wait to see the angry video game nerd tear this apart. As for a different version, I can't say. I know it'll look prettier, but as for the stiff and unresponsive controls, I don't know if that'll be any different. But even if the controls and frame rate are perfect in the other versions, it would still be a terrible game. I'll give the Wii version a 1.5 out of 10. Yep, the person who once said a 2 out of 10 seemed too harsh is going lower than that. What does that tell us, kids?
Alright. One game left. So next up, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Unless it's, I don't know, with my luck, 20 miles away.